Here we go again with the with the weekly rapid game commentary. Let me clear my throat here for a minute. I've been out of action for a little while. Believe it or not, I actually caught the flu and tested positive for it about a week and a half ago. So it took me a couple of days, obviously, to deal with that. And plus, I took some Tamiflu, and that helped with the symptoms. So back in action now. So glad of that. I mean, it flew in June. How about that? But anyway, keep yourself safe out there. There's stuff still floating around. You may not think about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this rapid game here. Sitting outside today on my back porch, and it's quite hot here in North Carolina. It's about 95 degrees, and the heat index today, well, it's going to get up to 95. It's not quite 95 just yet. The heat index is supposed to get to about 103, and I've seen another one say 105. So basically, the heat index is going to be over 100 degrees today, but I'm on sitting on the back porch, got my ceiling fan going, got a couple of fans blowing on me. I just wanted to sit outside. I just enjoy the ambient sounds of sitting outside. So, all right, so let me go ahead and stand up so I can flip this around here. Okay. Flip this around for you guys. Let me get that back into a good focal position here. There we go, about right there. Okay, so he pushes up. And I'm going to go with my trusty Caro-Kann that I'm learning here. Okay, takes. This is the exchange variation here of the Caro-Kann. And obviously, you can, it's sort of like a reverse Carlsbad, I think, where you can get the minority attack on the queen side in the long term as black. But again, at the same time, I guess it depends on what type of player you are, what level you're playing at, and that sort of thing. All right, so here, I think you're supposed to go ahead and hop this knight out first to hit e5 to put a little extra protection there. He's probably going to play bishop to b5. Oh, he did not play bishop to b5. All right, so there's this way you can play this with actually doubling your pawns on the f file as black. So if we get a chance to, if I think I'll have a chance to do that, I will. But let me see how my opponent's playing. Okay, so he did not play the right move here. Well, it's not a bad move, but I think bishop to f4 is a little bit more testing because it takes over this diagonal and does not allow me to get in queen to c7 just so easy. And in addition, that when that bishop is on that file, it keeps on that diagonal, it keeps the rook off of b8. So therefore, sometimes you can't really get that push. It's kind of hard to. It just takes a few more tempi to really set that up. So I don't think this is a bad way to play. I just think it's not necessarily the recommended way to play the exchange Caro-Kann. For surely it's playable, for sure. All right, so let's see. Sometimes I leave my bishop on c8 in the Caro-Kann because, again, it's somewhat developed where it stands, depending on how you play it out. But, yeah, okay, so he plays that. Okay, now that's interesting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I'm going to go fianchetto and castle, which I might, but also the bishop to f5 actually is a move for black. Okay. Keep going with this here. I just want to see, what is he going to reveal in terms of which way he's going to castle. So I'm going to try to play a lot of waiting moves as much as I can. It's just to see which way he castles. So sometimes that's important depending on the decision that you make as well. So for example, if he castled king side, I'd be more likely to put my bishop on f5 here. But if he castled queen side, I'd be less likely to do it because I don't think I'd get much from that. Now, so he does go this route. So now when I go bishop f5 right now, he doesn't have to take it, but most people do take it. But he probably not going to take it, and we probably just go into a trade or something, which is, fine by me. So let's just see what happens. Like he probably puts his queen on, say, c2, for example, instead of going bishop takes bishop. So let's just see what he does here. I mean, if he goes like queen to c2, for example, I mean, there's possibly I can go knight to say e4 too as well. Maybe I could just play simple and just trade. If he doesn't take my bishop, like trade his bishop on d3, castle, put a rook on e8, prepare d5. You know, I could probably do something like that. My queen is ready to back up that push. My rook on a8 can also come over to the e file, so I can leave my rook on the f file to help protect my king. So let's just see what he does here. I think he might be, that's why he's probably, okay, so he took it, okay. He probably took a while, because he's probably not used to people playing that move. But it's a move. It's an actual move. I mean, he's opened a G file. I mean, it's not all bad or anything. But I think I would not have taken it if I was him. I probably would have just put my queen on c8 and sort of tried to elicit a trade or something like that. That's probably what I would have done. Queen to c2, knight to d2, something along those lines. And at some point I can also push f4 as well, because it is supported by the queen at the moment. A knight hop to e4 also looks really good. That looks good at the moment. Not sure what he's going to play here. What would be my guess he would play? I mean, if I were him, I would play like queen to d2, so I can put my bishop on f4 if I was him, so I can get on that dark diagonal. He could reasonably do that. But then I could just go knight to h5 to kind of put the brakes on that for a second. Or I could even just go knight to I can go knight to e5. So if he did go bishop to f4, bishop to f4. I mean, I go knight to e4. Sorry, he go bishop to f4. Then I can push e5. So, but I don't know if I really want to do that though, because then if I push e5 and trade, then I'll have double pawns on the f file and a lone isolated pawn on the d file. So actually, I wouldn't do that unless I really knew something concrete was there to help me out. Wow. Okay. So he wants to go knight here. So let's just go ahead and go to here. I need to make an improving move anyway, so that doesn't hurt at all. So let's just go ahead and do that. Because that's definitely his idea to do that. So just go ahead and play and just get that time advantage for that, because again, he's down to 11 minutes and something. I got like over a 3-minute time advantage right now. So it wouldn't hurt. Again, there might have been a better move I could play, but you know, being that this is a rapid game, you know, if you can use the clock reasonably kind of early on, go ahead and use it. Okay, so what I might do is, I might just go ahead and let him push that. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. So if he takes, then I'm gonna take back with my knight. Should I do anything? There's nothing really aggressive to do here. So let's just go ahead and push up here. I mean, I still can castle the king side. I mean, that's totally safe to do that. So it's not really I could actually even castle, put my king on h8 and still somewhat take advantage of the open G file. So I could always do that. So that's probably what that's probably going to be my long-term strategy from this point. But again, at least that's what I think is going to happen. So now, let's just go ahead and take with this guy here with the knight. I think that's a better choice. Obviously, it's a better choice. Because if I take with the E pawn, I would have double pawns on the F file and a single pawn on the E file, isolated pawn on the E file, D file. Sorry, that would really just not be optimal at all. And it helps strengthen, by him doing it, it helps strengthen my presence on the B8 H2 diagonal, because if he ever could have gotten his bishop, his dark bishop H to F4 to kick my queen, at the moment he can't do that. So, and my bishop is a little open now on G7. It's kind of got a little bit of targets, at least keeping some eye on some stuff in the middle of the board. So you kind of got to be a little bit careful. Okay, so we don't want to allow that. I don't think there's really nothing he could do about this at the moment. Let's see here. Now here's a time to think for a second here, okay, since I got a little time advantage. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to take his bishop on E3. My knight looks really good on E4. D4, sorry. I mean, I would like to bring my knight on C6 to E7 to support that knight a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and castle is what I'm going to do. And the reason being is that I think that I can put some pressure down the G file that might make him divert some attention to over there. Because at the moment, I mean, he got a square on C4 for his knight, and he can also hop at the A5, but again, I'll take it on A5 with my queen. So I can't push F4. I really want to at some point, but it's just like, it's not really that fruitful. So if anything, I'll take my rook back to, my queen back to D8 here. And you also got to watch out. Sometimes there's a fork when somebody got a knight on the side of the board, like on where his knight is on our A3. Sometimes they could do some knight bounce to say C4 to say B6 and fork you some kind of way on and win the exchange. But that's obviously not the case at this moment for two reasons. But because the knight is protecting B6 and the queen is protecting B6. But yes, you should always watch that. I think I'm gonna end up putting a rook on C8 at some point and backing my queen up maybe to B8 because I want to stay on that diagonal, but I don't want to restrict my queen too much. But at least just a initial idea here. All right, so he goes here. Interesting. All right. So he wants to go knight to Knight to e5, okay. Okay. So what we'll do is this. Let's see here. He goes knight here. Push, take. I'm just trying to calculate something here because I want to get okay. We're gonna bring a rook over here. He's probably gonna go ahead and hop knight to e5 and I mean the e5, and that's okay because then I'm gonna go queen to d6. I still got a little time advantage here, about 3 minutes ish. Well, I also got, I could go knight take bishop and put my queen on say g3, but I don't know what I would be accomplishing there. But well, really nothing, because then he could just bring his queen up or his rook up and just run me away. So it's really not relevant to do that move. So yeah, I think I'm gonna yeah. So I figured he might do that, and then we're just gonna go over to here. Now I'm threatening to win a pawn here, and I would give up my bishop to win that pawn because I don't think he could, because he couldn't really attack my king because I always got f6, and f6 would just be blocking out any sort of thing, and I could put a rook say on f7. I got so many ways to protect my king from that. Although it would be a risky maneuver with the queens on the board to trade that, but if he just allowed me to take that pawn and give up my dark square bishop, and he keep his dark square bishop, I would probably go ahead and do that. Actually, I would take his dark square bishop first. Like if he just made a non-move right now. Yes, okay. Yes, there we go. Because he hops his knight in there right now. I'm going to take that rook first. And then I'm going to take his bishop, and then I'll take his knight. If he puts his knight on e5. Because again, no, I'd have to take the bishop first. Yes, I take the bishop first. Because if I go rook takes rook, he could go bishop takes rook. So it's the order of operations here that's important. All right, so he wants to play tricky. Okay. What about if we go like this right here and hit his rook, hit his queen with our rook? I mean, in some ways, I almost could win a pawn in the middle of the board, just not yet. Okay. Now, it's looking like he wants to try to go for a draw, because I could go back over. Now, Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna try to take over the C file here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go queen to B4 to threaten a pawn here, and he's likely gonna push B3. If we push B3, then I'm gonna go rook to C6, and I'm gonna bring my. Then he's gonna move his queen to somewhere. Then I'm gonna pull my other rook over to C8. I just want to keep him from infiltrating so much on me here. Because this dark squared bishop is really not playing so much right now, and it really has no good squares. Although it is, bad bishops do protect pawns. So I mean, it is a tall pawn. It is protecting D4 quite well. But I'm gonna try to take over this file right quick and see how that goes. I mean, he got to protect that pawn some kind of way because the pawn is being threatened right now. Okay, got about almost a 5-minute time advantage now. Okay, so now then we bring our rook up. Now we bring our rook over here, threaten his queen, and bring our rook over. Then we'll have some presence on that file, and that's what we want to do. And let me slow down here. There might be something with some knight moves here where I could probably, you never know, get a fork here with something. But all right, so now let's go to, and I think I see what he wants to do. Yeah, okay. Bring our rook over. He's probably going to bring his bishop to D2. And I'm going to just probably go queen to A3. I mean, it's a number of things you can do here, but this is what I'm predicting. Now, I also got to move rook to C3 right now. I don't know how good it is, but definitely I'll hit his queen, and it'll just give me a larger presence on that file. So. Okay, he takes. Yeah, there's no, let's see here. Try to keep my time advantage here. So if he ever moves his knight, so I just got to keep him off that queen side, and I should be good. Okay, so now I might could force an endgame here that might be to my favor. I think I might want to play an endgame here. I might. I'm not saying I can force it. Oh, I actually could force it. Well, not really. Let's go ahead and take this here, because again, I think the end game I like it better for me. He has an isolated pawn in the middle of the board, And I just won't really force him to make an end game, but if he don't, it'll just make the situation worse for him. So, actually, if I go, this is hilarious. If I goes, well, no, if I go queen to he actually has a move. I think we should push that. Okay, so the idea was to go queen to c3, but then he could make this funny move and go queen to c4, and he's protecting his bishop, but he's also just putting his queen and making presence on that file. And I could make him trade. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, he'll have to trade if I go here, one way or the other. So if he doesn't take it now, if he does go to c4, then I'll just push b5, and he'll be forced. Well, will he? Yeah, yeah, he'll be forced to trade. Yeah, he'll be forced to trade one or the other because he could even go queen to c5, and then I just drop my bishop back to f8, and that'll force the trade. I think my bishop is better than his bishop, and my knight, because it's in the center of the board, and I don't really have any weaknesses right in the middle of the board. Because even if he, for example, was to get my pawn on the rook side, yeah, I don't know if I can't let him get that. But if he were to get that pawn, he would have an outside pass pawn. So I got to really be careful there. That's what I got to be careful of. So I'm putting him to the test here. And let's see, does he want an end game? Because again, like I said, I think the end game for me, it's not necessarily that it's winning, but I think my end game might be better. So long as I don't trade bishops with him. I want to keep my bishop for a while because I want to keep, because my bishop will always keep some pressure on that middle, on that d4 pawn. Okay, so I thought he would do that. Now that's something. Okay, so now, all right, so now let's see. I mean, technically, if I go here, that bishop is pinned to that knight, at least for right now. And if I did, I can make him put his pieces in a very jumbled up situation here. Because if I go bishop to h6, if I go bishop to h6, the only move he has is stop me from winning a piece is going knight to d2. And then, so I'm wondering what would, I don't think knight, oh, let me see here. Oh, it will, yes, that might, oh, that is, yes, I got this nice idea. Because if I go bishop here, he pull his knight back, then I hop my knight here to c. So he goes here. So this he might play this line. So now when I go bishop to h6, he has to jump his knight back here to block it. Okay? And don't forget, when I hop my knight to c3, there potentially could be a check on e2. And so if I go queen takes bishop, he has to take it, and then I'll fork him, and then I'll win a piece. Let's just see, does this line play itself out? Because as it stands as of right now, there's nothing he could do to stop me from winning that piece. Unless I'm blind here, except for go knight to d2. That's the only thing he can do at this point to stop me from winning that piece. And when he does that, yeah. And now I go here, and then on the next move, I'm taking bishop takes, queen takes bishop on the next move. And he has to take it back with his queen, then I'll fork him on e2. I think my opponent should have just traded queens, because by not trading queens, he basically put himself seemingly in a worse position. I'm not saying he couldn't. He probably could have played it differently if he didn't want to trade queens. But what he did was make a mistake that appeared to lost the game. Okay, now when he goes here, then I just go here and take this. Oops. And now he has to take back with the queen. Then I go in with the fork. Okay, so he takes. Then I go in with the fork. So now I just want a piece just like that. And I'm about to win a pawn over here just the same, because he's going to have to move his knight, because I'm going to take it if he don't. Okay. See, can we go ahead and mop up some pawns here? Okay, perfect. He resigned. Thanks. I appreciate that. I hate when people play down in a position when they're losing, and he's losing on the clock by 8 minutes. So again, I respect people who have some initiative and keep playing on when there's a lot left to play for. But for here, this is just a no-brainer to just give up, because well, it's just, I'm up a piece. I'm up 8 minutes, and that's just how it is. So anyway, that is the video of the weekly game of commentary. So I'm just going to jump over to my computer real quick, and I'm going to do just a little bit of analysis here and just put that onto the end of the video, because I want to see exactly where he went wrong. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed that video and got something out of it. I did enjoy that game, I got to say, not because I won it, but I think that me and my opponent was sort of playing these sort of mental games with each other, but my opponent just so happened to make the worst move first. All right, so here at the analysis portion of the video, on first glance, you can see that I suspect that my opponent played a high quality game, and he did. And if you look at the eval bar here, you can see that this here is pretty even until he makes the mistake when he gets his pieces jumbled up and loses a piece. I thought he made some inaccuracies before that, but at the same time, again, it's more of a personal preference. And I'll show you just in the opening, just as one inaccuracy I think personally would have been a better move for white. E4, D5, C6. And so we get here to, I think here, wait a minute. Instead of going c3, he should have went bishop to f4. That seems to be the most testing move, in my opinion, because it blocks the queen from going to this diagonal. It also blocks the rook from going here, so you can push this pawn at a later date, for example. So I think that's a bit more testing if you're going to play as white against the open. I mean, play what you call the open. The Caro-Kann Exchange. All right. So going back, this is what he plays. Everything is pretty booked up to this point here. Let's see. He castles, which is good. If I go here, this is a good move. Now, I personally would not have taken this as white. He took. I would have just went queen to say here, for example, queen to c7. I mean, I could have hopped something like this. I mean, it could have been a bunch of things like this could have happened, but by exchanging, it just makes it a little bit for me, I think as white, I might be a little bit scared of that G file. But again, nothing's in stone at this point. He hops out with the idea to come here to kick my queen. So whenever somebody does something like this, I mean, you don't really want them to just hop that knight over there and just hit your queen. I mean, just go ahead. You're likely going to be. The computer calls this an inaccuracy here, saying I should have went to e6. But still, when I see why, because if I go e6, let's just make this line. If he goes here, and I just back up to say, I don't know, it says d8, but let's just back up anyway. It probably doesn't matter. I probably would have went to b8, and let's just say, like I said, queen e2. But I kicked the knight. The knight. Well, actually, that's not a good move. It doesn't say. So, I kind of learning something here. Okay. So really, I want to go ahead and push this e6 kind of quick in this opening here set versus, but it's still, if you look at the evaluation, it changed and it gives my opponent a higher, if you look at the live thing, it's only going from about 0 to about 0.4. So not so bad. So I think personally, for me, I think it's a better move in terms from a human standpoint. All right, so now when he goes this was strange. I don't really believe that this was. I really think this was again not like a losing mistake, but it's just I don't think it really done anything worth anything. So I just push up both of that pawn, and he exchanges, gives my knight a fantastic position, and that knight is ultimately what won me the game. Now here, I castles, and I kind of figured he might go here and want to hop his knight over to d5 at some point. So that's why I go here. When he jumped in, my idea was, let me see what, yeah, takes, rook takes. My idea was I was thinking that he was going to go ahead and, well, he played queen here. But I thought he was going to go ahead and exchange here. So if he exchanged, I exchanged. And then say I could always bring my rook over to this file here at some point, and then just have some, better influence on this file. So anyway, he goes here. So queen at b6 is the best move, which I played. He plays back to c2. So it says, oh, playing on h6 and some other moves are better. So let me see if my queen to b4 there. Oh, queen to b4 is the third top move. So yeah, queen to b4, he goes b3, and then I bring my rook back to c6. He goes here. And I bring my rook over. Let's see, was that the top move? Rook on after c8. Yep. So yeah. Now this, let's see here. Queen to c3. Yes, that's the top move, and I played that actually. Queen to d2. Queen to d1 actually is not a bad move. I mean, I'm still got like a 0.4 pawn advantage here. Oh, now that, yeah, again, this definitely is a blunder. But again, when your opponent makes a blunder, you have to see it. So you have to be, you got to have some spidey senses. So I saw, if you watch the video, I saw this pin here, and I knew that I could at least jumble his pieces up somehow because of that knight hopping back, and my pieces are just way more active. And when I go here, I mean, the rest is just history. Whatever he moves, no matter what he moves his queen, I'm just taking this, and when he takes back, and then just fork, and there you have it. And I'm not sure how this could have played out. Maybe he could have went here to probably hit a pawn. What would I have done here? I could have. I don't think I'd want to trade this pawn just yet. Because again, I want to try to win a pawn over here and keep this pawn on this side of the board. So I might, up here says, I was thinking about going knight takes d4. Because I wouldn't want to be too passive. So that's the whole idea here. Takes, I'm just seeing what happens here. And, oh, bishop to f8 cuts him off. The only way he can go, yeah, that cuts him off. This whole diagonal right here. So his knight can't hop. The only knight hop he has is here and here. So this makes his knight make worse moves is all what that does. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, so anyway, I think that I would have, I would have won this game for sure. And because eventually I would have just brought my king over to this side of the board, to the queen side, and eventually just wrap this game up. So anyway, kudos to my opponent. He played a fantastic game. And there's not much more to be said. I mean, great accuracy from both of us. And also, if you're more into stats, if you look down here at the bottom, I know these ratings might not mean all that much, but again, it does say that we played a pretty high level game. So anyway, kudos to my opponent. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to my videos. And if you will turn on that bell notification, that really helps me out a lot.